right. I guess we have a fair amount of students now. I wanted to welcome everyone for this session and thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And I would just like to remind everyone to kindly turn on your cameras at all times and please make sure that you display your complete name because we will be tracking your attendance. And if you're having any camera issues or audio issues, kindly message YC staff Will so she can take note of that for your attendance. And if you are an alumni or student leader, we will be doing breakout rooms today. So kindly put that before your name so we can tag you accordingly. And I'm very much excited to let you know that we have a flex facilitator for tonight. And I'm giving the floor to Michelle to introduce our guest facilitator. Thank you.
Oh, hey, I'm lucky to be able to introduce Yami tonight. Yami is awesome. She has been with Youth Champions, actually. She came out to our ropes course last semester. Can I see anyone give me a hand raise or an emoji if you came out to the ropes course last semester? Anybody come? Okay, I get a thumbs up. Couple others a hand. Okay, so a couple people. Yeah. Oh, okay, a whole bunch more of you. Awesome. Yeah. I loved the ropes course. I think it is so fun. Okay, a bunch of you came. That makes a lot more sense to me. I was wondering for a second. But awesome. Yeah, so Yami came out too, and we're super stoked to have her here. She studied psychology. Now she's a social worker. She's done all kinds of different things focusing on youth and family, focusing on resilience, mental wellness, focusing on practical strategies for success. She's really passionate about helping people reach their goals and really advocate for themselves and thrive and all this kind of stuff. This is exactly in line with what we do, right? We are all about you taking your life and you making it what you want it to be. You're the one in control. And that's her whole background. So she is here to help work with you all tonight. I also want to explain because I don't think y'all know what a flex facilitator is. So we have facilitators. That's who you see on a weekly basis. Last month or last year, that was Bryson. This year, it's Kathleen. So it's the person you're going to see almost every single week. However, we also have these people called flex facilitators, and these are really awesome people with really unique and diverse perspectives. People who are out there in the real world, also, just like Kathleen is, just like Bryson is, and can help bring just another flavor to you. So it's an honor to have her as a guest tonight. Thank you, Yami, and I'll hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thank
Yay.
you so much. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so happy to be joining Youth Champions. Like Michelle said, it is my first class. So hopefully in the fall we could have my own cohort eventually. So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, so as mentioned, I studied psychology. I went to Cal Poly Pomona, so in LA County. Um, I've been teaching on Zoom for a couple years, usually with adult males, females, and just juvenile facilities and whatnot. But yeah, now I work as a social worker, so it keeps me really busy. So I don't know if anyone's interested in that route. Um, yeah, it's really gratifying, working with I work with kids, the elderly, and all of that. I never thought I'd be getting into that field. So yeah, if you guys have any info or any questions on that, I would love to speak about it. Yeah, what is the age range? What grade or yeah, in high school, what grade are you guys in? You could put in the chat if you'd like. All right, I'm trying to pull it up too. Oh, okay. So a lot of you are pretty much re getting ready to graduate. You guys are doing your AP tests, all of that, huh? Okay. Well, that's exciting. Perfect. All righty. So yeah, today we will be discussing taxes. I don't know where to go. Perfect. Yeah, so this week we'll be just discussing taxes and kind of how that applies to our everyday lives. Whether that's, on our daily basis or maybe just every once in a while, right? So like, what are where's our money going, essentially? And so I know last week you guys talked about investments. You kind of learned about how money grows. Sorry, I'm trying to get ready to see it as well. So yeah, you guys are trying to learn about how money grows, the investing part of things, and just really trying to get the steps necessary to be just smart spenders in this really expensive economy. So moving forward, we will be talking about those taxes. I think we're okay. So yeah, so this week we want to understand the purposes of taxes and their roles in funding public services. We want to identify main tax types, so that's income taxes, sales, property, payroll, and their contributions to government responsibilities. We want to learn the basics of tax filing, which includes your paychecks, how to read that, the deductions. So learning the difference between, gross income versus a net income. So what are you actually taking home? So yeah, so those are all our objectives for the evening. So we're gonna do if we could jump into the poll so we could get a feel of how we're feeling about taxes. All right, if you guys could fill out the poll and then we could discuss. Cool, looks like we're almost halfway there. So if you haven't had a chance to answer the poll, if you could get those filled out. But it looks like for question one, oh, you guys aren't able to see the results yet, so I'll just wait a little bit. Okay, I think we have the majority, so we'll move on with that. Okay. So for question number one, which of these do taxes help pay for? Wow, the majority picked all of them, right? So hospitals, firefighters, roads and streetlights, and school and teachers. So yeah, definitely our taxes are going to most of those things. For number two, if you could decide where your tax money goes, what would you fund the most of? Healthcare. Wow, that one's a 68%. That's pretty high. And then the next highest was the education and youth programs. Okay. Wow, kind of like this program, right? So that's good. And then lastly, which part of filing taxes sounds hardest to you right now? Understanding the forms. Well, as old as you get, they are hard forms to understand. So if you're confused now, that's okay. We're getting the foundation down, and then hopefully you feel more prepared when you start filing your taxes. I do want to get maybe some hands up. Who has a part-time job? Who's already working? Okay, so a couple of us. Alrighty. Okay, so let me ask, Frank, have you had to file taxes yet? Or is this going to be your first go around?
It's gonna be my first time.
Okay, it's gonna be your first time this year or the next year, like this April
Um, I think next year.
and next year. Okay, okay, so perfect. This is perfect time for everyone. Yeah, so if we could jump into the We the People video so we could get in just a general idea as to what we're going to be covering today. Thank you. Alrighty, so yeah, that was a cute little way of introducing taxes, right? Going down to the history of, what this country is founded on, right? We didn't want to pay taxes to the British, and we threw their tea overboard for the tax tea. And yeah, so now in 2026, we have taxes for everything, right? So essentially, taxes are money we pay to the government, and a lot of the taxes go to funding, public services, whether that's, hospitals, whether that's helping repair roads, paying for firefighters, paying for the police force, paying for the military, all of these things. And then the way that we pay are, like I said, in everything that we pay for, we'll pay for taxes, right? So if you're buying soda, if you're buying if you're going to Chipotle, you're going to be paying taxes. You're buying a home, and the big one is your when you get paid, right? You have to pay your federal tax or your state taxes. Um, so those are the different ways that the government starts to pay for those things, right? And for your paycheck, when you are getting taxed on that, right? We know about our gross amount that we're getting. And when you get a pay stub, there's an amount that it's the amount that you earned right before you get your taxes taken out. And then the net income is kind of what you take into your pocket. So things that are deducted are things like your the state taxes that you pay for in order to pay for the things that we just spoke about. The federal taxes, so things like your Social Security, things like Medicaid, that's what you're contributing to. And then as well as city taxes. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, if you, depending on the city that you're in, you'll pay a different percentage on the item. So if you go to, let's say, a Chipotle in Hollywood, that might be a different price than when you go to, for example, Long Beach, because their taxes are a little bit different, and that could be 7% versus 8%. In the long run, it does add up, but that's how it fluctuates, and that's how the city funds their public services. Alrighty. Okay, so we'll move into our first workbook question. And then we won't do a breakout room for this one, but if you could just fill out this question, and then we could discuss. Alrighty, so list 3 things you use or benefit from every day that are paid for by taxes. So does anyone want to raise their hand and volunteer what your 3 things were? Anyone? Okay, Catherine?
Okay, the 3 things that I use or benefit every day from taxes are healthcare, education, and security.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely. Education's a big one, right? If we're going to if you're at a public school, that's paid for through the taxes. Yeah. Tiffany?
I also put like my education, like my high school is obviously like provided by the taxes. Also, public transportation and the roads and sidewalks. I'm not sure if those two are by taxes, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Just maintaining our roads, right? So all the road work that we see, all the freeways and all of that, yeah, that's funded by our taxes. So when your taxes go up, hopefully you see some work being done on the streets because they're, using it for something. Okay, looks like James put your car, your phone, and education. Okay, so yeah, so a lot of us are saying education, yeah, especially if we're in the public school area or era of things. Yeah, roads, education, public transportation. Yeah, that's a big one, especially in the city, right? If you're using um, the Metrolink, that's a big one that's funded by the state of California. Very good. So, which one of these that we've mentioned would make the biggest difference if we didn't have? Like if we didn't have, for example, roads, education, or public transportation, what do you think would happen to our society? Okay. Does no one want to go? Okay, I'll
It looks
say,
like Isabella has her hand up.
oh yeah, okay, sorry, I couldn't see. Isabella?
I think like if we didn't have education, we wouldn't be able to learn and like learn new things, you know? So like it's important that we also like we learn a lot of like life skills too at school.
Yeah, definitely. Without the public school, the taxes that we receive in those public schools, we can't pay for our teachers, we can't pay for our books, our materials, keeping the school clean and safe. Yeah, definitely. Cool. Alrighty. Seems like you guys got it. You guys know, all the public stuff that we get paid for. So now we'll move on to the types of taxes.
We have Frank,
Oh,
who's
I'm
raising his
sorry.
hand. Go on,
Yeah,
Frank.
hi, Frank.
I just wanted to add on, like, because I personally use EBT as well, in order to pay for my groceries and stuff like that. So I
Dang,
feel
yeah,
like
definitely.
without EBT, I wouldn't be able to like budget accordingly.
No, that's really good. That's believe that one. Is it the CalFresh? Yeah, under the state. Yeah, so a
Yeah.
lot of us that are paying our state taxes help fund um, these programs so that we can have affordable groceries and healthcare and all of those things. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for sharing. Okay, so earlier we kind of went through Yeah, we went through the types of taxes, but now we'll get into the details. So the main one that you guys probably hear of are the income tax, right? So that's the money that's been taken out of your paycheck. And I know some of us are already working, so you start to see that it does add up pretty quick that we are, I don't know if donating is the right word, but yeah, we are losing a lot of that money. Um, so yeah, that's a big one. The second one is the sales tax, right? So the things that you buy on your day-to-day basis, which depend on your state. So like some states don't have sales tax, and then some states have really high property tax. So I don't know if you guys are pretty familiar, but a lot of people in California are migrating to states like Texas because of those taxes, because of those income taxes that are so high. So they'd rather go somewhere else so they don't pay that high amount. Property tax, right? So those are taxes that you pay based on your home ownership. So again, with the example with Texas, yes, their sorry, I forgot the word. Their income tax is a lot lower because the price of living is a lot lower, but their property tax is a lot higher. So depending on what you want to pay for and what makes sense to you, if you're going to own a home or if you're going to rent, then that kind of determines the state that you should be living in or that you consider living in, at least. I know not all of us have like the ability to move states and everything. So just something to think about. And then payroll taxes. So these are the taxes that are the federal, right? So we talked about Social Security. So is anyone familiar with Social Security? Kind of what that looks like, or have like some kind of understanding? It's okay to be wrong. Frank.
All right, this is my last one, I promise. Um, I feel like, in my understanding, Social Security is how the government tracks you, how they understand where you're at, and how they understand how you're making that much money. And well, essentially, like, what are you doing on a day-to-day base with your money?
Good, that's good. And now I had another hand. I think it was James. James? No? Okay. No, yeah, definitely. So the Social Security, right? It is tracked with your Social Security number, and it's through all the states of the United States. And the way that works is when you get money taken out of your paycheck, some of it goes to the federal government. And what that means is you're paying towards your Social Security. So that money that you're prepaying, you're not going to see until you retire. So I don't know if you guys have heard when some people choose to retire a lot later in life than, retiring early, like at six. Oh, no worries, James. At 60. Some people will retire at 60, some people retire at 67. So why does that matter? The older you are and like the longer you wait, the more you contribute to your Social Security. So the higher amount of money that you receive monthly from the Social Security. So like if your price of living is a lot higher, you might have to wait a little bit longer to retire so that you could afford your lifestyle. Does that make sense? Thumbs up. Yeah. Any questions on that? Social Security is so complicated. There's so much to it, but generally that's kind of how it works. Okay. And then same with Medicaid. So Medicaid is also a federal-based program that you're also paying into, and that essentially it's an insurance for when you retire, or if you become disabled and you register, then you start receiving a disability check. So that's kind of where all of that comes from. All right. So if we can move on to the next workbook question. So this one I'll read because we will be going into breakout rooms. So pick one type of tax and explain what it's used for. Why do you think that's important? Okay, so just fill in your workbook and then we could discuss when we come back from our breakout rooms.
Ooh, I think Chris is on mute. I think it's time to go into the breakout rooms, though.
I think everyone's back now.
All righty. So how did that go? What tax did your group kind of decide on? Was there a majority? Let's go with room one. Does anyone want to share from room one?
In my room, everyone shared like what what category they wanted to, and they explained like why it was important in general.
Awesome. Thank you, Samantha. Was there one that stood out to you or one that stood out to the group that you noticed?
I put sales tax because like every day we buy stuff, so I feel like it amounts to a large total.
That's true, yeah. Every time you spend, and that's almost every day if you're spending money. Yeah, all of that adds up. Um, what's interesting with that too is whenever when you see something that's, let's say, $6.99, if you come in with $7, that's not going to be enough, right? We're always, okay, I need to round up maybe $2 extra depending on the amount that it is. And it's interesting because some countries don't do that at all. Everything's included in the price tag that's on the display already. So yeah, when they come here, they're kind of confused as to what is going on. I thought it was this price when it's another price. Did anyone say anything else besides sales tax? Maybe group two, someone from group two?
I think I was in group two. We spoke also about income tax, as even if it comes out of a paycheck, at least it helps benefit society, such as helping with healthcare, education, and like roads.
Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. So was the general consensus that you guys are okay with paying taxes? Is that the vibe? Yeah, okay. That's good because California has a lot of them. So very good. All right. And then room three. Is there another one you guys noticed?
So, in my group, everybody was talking about basically income tax as well. But then somebody said about payroll tax and how like that also helps like pay and support like hospital bills or like how I don't know. Ooh, oh, I think CalFresh, I think, something like that. That's what they
Yeah.
mentioned. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you, Kaylee, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Kaylee. Yeah, no, definitely the payroll tax, it sounds similar to the income tax, but yeah, the payroll one is the federal. So the things that go to your Social Security, things that go to your Medicaid, so the insurance and everything like that. The thing I was going to mention with those, um, oh, in California, we pay a higher payroll tax than some of the smaller states because we just have so many people and the taxes are so high. So a lot of the times we fund other states. So a lot of when it gets all political, California is like, oh, like, well, we can stand on our own. We help fund you guys. So it gets tricky with that. But yeah, definitely a payroll tax is a big one for us. And group four.
In our group, we were also talking about income taxes and how some of us, since we already started working, we've already had like some, experience with that. And, even though it does, hurt a bit when we see how much is being deducted, uh, we generally are kind of okay with it because, it's for the greater good. It's for our communities and services that are being provided to us.
That's awesome. That is so good. Yeah, you guys hit it on the head with that because, uh, yeah, without our public taxes, like all of our, we wouldn't have our national parks. We wouldn't have nice running roads, good freeways, and good hospitals, and our just public safety. I'm working on my master's in public administration. So I work a lot, I'm learning a lot of the public organizations and how making policy determines like the people's level of taxes. So yeah, it's a very intricate system that it's really important to know, the basics of, because we contribute to it in every way. So, and I think we just have one more group, group 5.
Can we have Alexander share?
I chose the sales tax too because I said that like it helps like fund education and it also like might influence what people like might buy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And then, like we mentioned earlier, right, you might go to a different city or a different county because it might be less expensive over there. So, yeah, big one. Okay, so now we'll move on to what we need to know about filing. So this is just more so of a general scope of how you could get started. Because I know some of us are already working, so maybe our parents are helping us out with those a little bit. But just so you know, when you're filing a tax return, you're going to be filing your federal, and then you're also filing for the state. So it'll be 2. And that's usually, it has to be done by April, I believe it's the 15th, April 15th. So right now it's starting of tax season. So everyone's getting their W-2s, which is basically a slip that says how much you made this year in this tax year and all the deductions, all the taxes that you paid and where they went. With that, you also kind of figure out if you're going to be refunded or if you're going to owe taxes. Does anyone that's already working, does anyone know, or maybe if you're not working, but what determines you paying at the end of the year or getting a refund? Does anyone know? Frank.
If I remember this correctly, it was if you give more taxes than like you're supposed to or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. You're on the right track. So, yeah, I think anyone else want to give it a shot? No. Okay, that's okay. So in order for you to get a tax refund, throughout the year, you get your deductions. So you're paying your taxes, like Frank said. But sometimes people opt to pay more. Like I'd rather get taxed X amount on this paycheck throughout the whole year so that at the end of the year, I don't owe. So when someone gets a refund, that means they overpaid throughout the year. And then, so that's an option, right? So that's how you're either gonna, you're gonna owe taxes or you're not. Some people are a little bit, I don't want to say, some people just know their money a lot better and they know where that money's going. So they'll opt out to not get taxed on their paychecks. So they're getting that full amount, that gross income. But at the end of the year, if they're saving it properly, then they'll have to pay that amount that they didn't pay for that whole year. Does that make sense? Thumbs up. Any questions on that? No, we're good. Okay. And then how do we file our taxes? Yes, Frank. Question?
I just wanted to ask, does the W-2 apply to every job or just some jobs?
W-2 should apply to all jobs if you are if you're, getting paid and you're paying taxes. So the reason that could be iffy is if you're not getting paid, or some people get paid under the table where it's just cash and you're not paying taxes, which is technically illegal, but yeah, you wouldn't receive a W-2 for that because the federal government doesn't know that you're getting paid.
I'll also add that that there's a whole world of W-2 jobs. And then there's a whole world of contractor jobs. So one is an employee for a company, and that has certain rules to it. And being a contractor also has certain rules to it. So, so being a contractor, you make your own schedule, you do your own thing, and you have a 1099. So you get a different but similar tax form, a W-9 at the end of the year that helps give you an idea of what you've done. But a lot of times for that, you don't have taxes taken out of that. So whereas when you get a job as an employee, you can say like, oh, I opt to have this amount of stuff taken out of my this amount of taxes taken out every single month, so that at the end, when I do pay my tax, maybe I get a refund because I overfunded from my taxes. But at the same time, if you have a contract position, you get a similar document, but you will need to pay taxes. Yeah, but good question. That it's not always a W-2, but there should always be some kind of legal document if you are working for somebody. Yeah. Tiffany, I'll hand it back over to you, Yami.
Thank you, Michelle.
So for like, what about like internships and stuff? Like they're paid still? Is that like, do you still have to file taxes for that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So even an internship, when you get paid, but it depends. Okay. So here's the one stipulation. In California, this is getting harder and harder and harder and harder. But you can have an internship in California for a student that is free where you don't earn anything. So I do recommend, if you can get an internship, get it, even if it's free. But they have to be able, your employer, whoever is employing you as an intern, has to make certain qualifications. It has to be educational. It needs to benefit you more than the company. So there's a few different things going on with internships that allow them to hire you for free. But if you are not being hired for free, if they are paying you, you also do have to pay taxes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, Yami, I jumped in again. I'm throwing it back to you.
No, that's perfect. I never had an internship, so thank you. Alrighty. And then just lastly, I did want to touch on is how do you file? How do you start that process? So you could go one of many ways, right? But there is a free resource on the IRS website where you could self-report all the things that you all the claims that you have, and then you would obviously submit your W-2. But yeah, you could do it yourself. So some people do their own taxes, or you could hire someone like a tax person, an accountant, to do those things for you. Yeah, especially if you don't like math. I don't know if your parents do this, but my parents are old school and they always keep all the receipts, every receipt that they had, in order to prove that they did pay their taxes throughout the year. Does anyone do that? Do their parents do that? Your parents, Michelle? Yeah. And what's interesting, you do, I don't know if it's been updated, but my dad always engraved to me that always keep your tax records for the next 6 years. That has to be in your records. So if the IRS ever asks you for, hey, in 2022 we need these documents, you need to have them. That's the rule. But alrighty. Okay, moving on. I think we have an activity. Okay, so this is just a practical activity as to what a payslip could look like. I know some of us aren't working yet, so just an example. So say you make $500. The deductions that you're going to be receiving are the federal income tax, which is $40, the state income tax, which is $15, and then the Social Security tax, $31, and then the Medicare tax. So these are examples that usually most of your paychecks will look like for deductions. I think we can move forward with that one. Okay, so if you add all of these deductions up, it comes up to $93.25. And if you subtract $93.25 from 500, you're going to get your net amount. So that's the amount that you're taking home, right? So if you want to find out what percent of your taxes are being withheld, what you'll do is, if you can move forward, it'll do the breakdown. Okay, so we take that number, the 9325, which is what was deducted, the total. You'll divide that by how much money you made, which is the 500, and then you'll multiply that number by 100, so you get a percent. So this person is being withheld 18% and 65 on their deductions form. Any questions on that one? No, just an easy example. Okay. Alrighty, so lastly, we want to do our workbook question. So if you guys could fill out that one, it's why is it important to understand your paycheck, how your paycheck is calculated, and how can this knowledge help you plan your finances? So we won't have time for a breakout room. So if you could just fill out that question on your own. Awesome. So I just want to hear from two people. The question is, what is one thing you could start doing now to help make filing your taxes easier in the future? Maybe you have already started. Any ideas? Frank?
I would say save all your receipts.
That's
Because
good,
honestly,
yeah.
there's a lot of like bank statements on my account that I realize that some of them don't match, and having receipts literally saved me hundreds and thousands of dollars. Yep.
Dang, that is so true. That is true. You can't rely on the bank to be your accountant, right? You want to make sure that no one's taking money they shouldn't be, or they're charging you for the amount that they said that they would. So yeah, definitely. That's a really good one, Frank. And then just one more. What is something that you do or plan to do to make your filing of taxes easier? Lizette?
Something that I plan to do is probably consult with someone who's done it already, like my siblings or my parents even. They file taxes every year, so I think that if I'm really having trouble with something, then I could just go to them. Like this year when I was doing my FAFSA, when I was plugging in all my information, my parents, since they understood the forms, they were explaining to me this goes here and this goes there. So I think that they could really help me out when I'm starting it.
That's awesome. That's a perfect example because if you're not already working, definitely if you're already applying to colleges, the FAFSA is, they want to know all the tax information of your parents, especially if you're under, I believe it's 24. I might be wrong on the age, but yeah, they rely on your parents' financial income. So yeah, I remember I'm first generation going like when I went to college. So I had to fill out the FAFSA like on my own. My parents didn't really know how to fill those things out. So yeah, go to the people that have done it, get your resources. And then a lot of the times through high school, through the high schools, they could help. There's usually workshops that help with that too. So don't be afraid to ask. I know it's really tricky. Okay, perfect. So next slide. I just want to say thank you guys so much for having me and for participating today. It was great getting to know all of you. And I'll be heading to more field trips, and then I'll be back in about 2 weeks. But yeah, next week you'll have your regular facilitator, and it'll be revolving problem solving. So you'll learn how to, oh yeah, no, we're just gonna skip over to no, you're good, to the workbook, so you guys have enough time. Okay, so if you could finish off with your workbook and your surveys. And I think the YC staff will be doing the announcements.
Thank you so much, Yami, for spending your time with us. It was really a great discussion, and we learned a lot about taxes. So thank you. And we'd also like to thank Michelle as well for helping us with the discussion today. Now, moving on to our announcements, I just wanted to remind everyone that our February 14th Junior Achievement Finance Park slot is still open. And if you haven't signed up yet, kindly do so because it closes tomorrow. And if you also attended our Ignite Speaker Series on Monday, please fill out the post survey, and that will also close tomorrow before 5 p.m. And if you are interested to become a student leader, you'll get to lead small groups, breakout rooms, and also support your classmates. Feel free to fill out the form on the chat. And the deadline for this is going to be on February 12th at 5 p.m. And if you're currently on a college match program right now, we're trying to get a number of students who's currently on it. So kindly fill out the form that's on the chat as well. And we are also inviting you all to join the Mustang immersive experience. This would be from today up until February 8th. You'll get free vouchers. Fill out the sign up form on the chat. You'll receive voucher codes, and then you'll go to the website itself and you'll do the checkout for each of the voucher codes that you currently have. And for our alumni, we are currently having the registration of the First Gen U Career Institute. So it's now open. So registration deadline for this is going to be on February 17th, and it will begin on February 23rd and will end on March 29th. For the info sessions, there are RSVP links that is on the chat as well. So feel free to check on that. And for any announcements or updates, please visit our student guide website. It's available 24/7 for you to visit. And if you have any questions, feel free to send that to our help form, and we address concerns from Monday to Friday only. And that's it for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next week, and feel free to drop your reactions before you go. Goodbye, everyone. Take care. Have a great night.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everybody. I love these emojis. I love the cat, all the hearts, the
Good night, everyone.
clapping. Oh, I'm here for it. I love this. Cat, yes.